Question 21, a parajumble question. So here we have to rearrange these sentences. Now again, let's see. So there's a but here. In the context of anthropology and archaeology, small moments like these, okay, so like which moments, represent a new and radical way of understanding the past. Then 2 says decades later. Decades later, that means some previous time point must have been mentioned. And yes, 3 mentions that. It wasn't until 1950. Okay, and then decades later, something happened. These little traces paint a very different prehistorical picture. Which little traces? These little traces. Okay, so this is in the nature of a result. This sentence is in the nature of a result, right? So let's look at 3. It wasn't until 1950 when the cave was rediscovered and named Basura that the story of this family's excursion began to be uncovered. So this was the beginning. Decades later, scientists such as the Italian paleontologist Marco Avanzini and his team would use a forensic approach to study the cave's footprints. Okay, so they will now use a forensic approach to study these footprints. The family's excursion, the family is going out somewhere, so they must have left some footprints there, right? So 3 should come before 2 because decades later refers to this time point 1950. And if you see, doesn't this give the result of using this forensic approach to study the cave's footprints? The result of this study, the result is that we now get a very different picture of the prehistorical life than what we normally thought. Okay, so 3 to 4 looks like a sequence. Now, where to place 1? If I remember correctly, I did not see any small moments being mentioned in 2, 3, or 4. So, small moments like these, it probably makes a reference to something that is not there in this paragraph at all, right? Do you see some small moments being discussed here? I don't. Okay, so no small moments have been discussed here. Probably this is a reference to a sentence that came earlier. Okay, and that's why 1 is going to be the opening sentence here, right? In fact, if you look at 1 carefully, we say that in the context of anthropology and archaeology, small moments like these represent a new and radical way of understanding the past. So what are we doing in this paragraph? We are trying to understand our past only, no, through these footprints. That is what we are trying to do. So this sort of gives you a peek into what is going to come next. Okay, so 1 is the introductory sentence, that how some small moments can help us to understand the past in a new and radical way, and this 3 to 4 serves as an example of this idea mentioned in 1. Hence 1, 3, 2, 4.